What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be taking the RF 100 to 400 and putting it through a very stiff test, which is handheld video. And what we're going to do is take it and give it one of the most challenging subjects ever to track, which is aircraft traveling at upwards of 500-600 miles an hour at an air show, doing acrobatics and everything else. So how does it handle single subjects moving really fast? How does it handle clouds and moisture and different things like that? But then how does it also handle multiple aircraft at the same time, something like the Red Arrows? So without further ado, let's jump into the video and we'll find out. So what I'm also going to do while this is going is I'm going to put my video settings on the screen for you guys. This is just how I've sort of default set the video settings. So as soon as I go into video mode and click record, that's where it's at. So I didn't actually change any of those throughout the time at Riot. I just left it as it was. And when I was watching them back, I was pretty impressed with the results. So let's see how it fares with single aircraft first. So when it comes to tracking single targets, as you could see, it really doesn't have many issues whatsoever in terms of aircraft. Now, they are a large subject and they do fly very fast, but as long as you're able to track them yourself, the camera tends to track them pretty well. The only time it jumped off was when I accidentally pressed the focus too many times or kept hold of it for too long against really, really difficult grey sky and whatever else. There was a few examples in there, but not too many. But however, what I definitely will say is that holding this, even all day long on your neck and everything, isn't too much an issue. But if you're pointing at the sky all day long like I was, eventually you do start to get a few of the arm wobbles and whatever else. You'll get that with any camera setup if it's more than just your phone. And even the phone, eventually having your arm up here, you will end up getting a bit of fatigue there. So I think that's just normal in general for that to happen, but let's move on and see how it does against stuff like the Red Arrows and the Frecce Tricolouri.
Oh yeah, that one.
And the new shoulders yesterday.
Would do it, to be fair, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
No one does tend to.
All the way at the back of that formation on the right hand side, working extremely hard, is Red 4. One of the hardest positions to fly because he is having to look through the entire formation at Red 1. We take all our formation references from Red 1. 4 cross. Before then completing his own training and joining the Typhoon Wars, where he served on police squadron with operations over Iraq and Syria. He's also been an instructor on 29 Squadron operational conversion units, all based at RAF Tricolouri in Lincolnshire. On in the Swan! Once again, Red 1 pulls him off with over 400 miles per hour, showing the of the pilot, maintaining that formation in a loop. However, soon after the Army changed formation in the loop from Swan into Shuttle. Reaching a height of over 6,000 feet, aircraft slowing now only to 120 miles an hour. The controls a lot less restricted. That speed now starting to build. 200, back to 300, back to 400 miles per hour as Red 1 brings them around to the left. You can hear those commands from Red 1. They're almost robotic and monotone in this delivery, and that's because in history. Coming in from the left, the smoke will come on for the Concorde. To the left-hand side of that centre stem is Red 3, Floating Andrew McEwen, known as Maka. Maka is in his first year at the team. He flew the AV-8B Harrier variant on exchange with the United States Marine Corps. Before then coming back to the UK and joining the world-famous 617, the Dambuster Squadron at RAF Marham. This is the Typhoon Roll. photo chasing the flight path with the E7. He's a former veteran, boys and girls. Another fantastic photo opportunity in from the left. The colourful Big Vixen. In that particular manoeuvre, the aircraft are flying with their air brakes out. That's a small door at the base of the aeroplane towards the rear. The abort call is made from red 9 as red 8 and 9 roll around the rest of the formation. But watch for the colour change as red 1 brings them down the line. About the pilots, we have a team of over there in our Diamond 9. It's the Red Arrows. As we go into the second half, we start the second half, which is the more half-pumping, jaw-dropping part of the show, with the 5-4 split. And in the second half, we break down to two distinct sections. On the left-hand side, you have Reds 1 through 5, recorded this moment. They're going to start in a few moments. The first rejoin maneuver, then it will be one. The picture of the action is performed with a twisted white palm like target and of a giant square. It looks like just one huge aircraft is performing the maneuver, but each aircraft in this moment is following a different line in order to maintain the right position with different formation. Closes now. Let's get ready for the emotion because this will be the heart of Frecce Tricolouri. And it's going to be accompanied by the magic voice of Andrea Bocelli. After this amazing crossing of the heart of Frecce Tricolouri, full throttle and the Spanish engine is weighted 7 times more. He draws a perfect circle with his white smoke and draws minus 3 Gs for an difference of about 24 Major Oscar Del Do and 25 Captain Leonardo Leo start rolling at the same time and
So honestly, the performance of the RF 100 to 400 literally speaks for itself in terms of handheld video. If you can hold it well enough and you can hold it long enough, it will get the results for you. Now, in testing video against aircraft is going to be very different against testing birds in flight and stuff like that, because birds in flight is going to be different, lower, more detail, more stuff that you need to be careful with in terms of being able to focus on and stuff like that, especially when it comes to, You know, somewhere like Mare, for instance, where they're flying against all the trees and everything like that, the backgrounds are much harder for the camera to like pick up and lock onto that bird or whatever it is. Whereas obviously in the air shows, the only thing that was really getting in the way was when the clouds got in the way and the planes went through it. But even when that did happen, once I started learning how the focus was going to work properly, you saw the video of the Frecce Tricolouri going through the clouds. I just left the focus alone, kept tracking them, and they stayed in focus, which was absolutely exactly what you want. So honestly, video mode, well impressed. And this lens is impressing me day by day. Every time I go out and use it, it impresses me again with the level of detail I'm able to get, the quality, the sharpness, and for the price. Like, I can't believe that they were able to put out a lens that is this light for this price, that has this quality. Yes, the noise is higher because I'm on a crop sensor as well, and because of the higher aperture, your ISO does tend to creep up a little bit quite quickly at times, especially when you start losing the light. But I've shot at 25,000 ISO and got usable pictures that are actually really, really clean after using DxO Puro 4 and Lightroom's denoise. So it doesn't matter what kind of denoising software you've got. If you want a lens that'll perform, this lens definitely does, and I'm really impressed by it, honestly. Now, obviously, in the future, I will be testing out the 100 to 500, the 200 to 800, and potentially like the 800 f11, maybe. But I'm also looking forward to seeing what other stuff is coming, because there's been a 300 to 600 rumored for Canon and a few other lenses, which honestly, the 300 to 600 and this, I don't really know which one's going to be the one that I would keep in my bag. But 300 to 600 obviously would be great for wildlife because you're at that further distance most of the time. But for certain birds and for certain things, you're probably going to end up being too close. So yeah, it's one of them. I'm not entirely sure on what's going to happen with that, but there is lots of lenses on the way, lots of cameras on the way in terms of what the companies are starting to release and stuff like that. And it's a really exciting time because we may be getting an R7 Mark II, we may be getting an R6 Mark III very soon. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of tech is in them and what innovations start getting pushed forward, because some of the stuff that's come out recently for video is crazy. We just need that kind of level for the photography side as well, which we got with like the R1 and the R5 Mark II kind of. But the R1, like the tracking on the R1 is insane apparently. I haven't tried it. I would love to, but I can't afford that camera. So, you know, it's one of them where for me that camera would be way off in dreamland. I'd have to win the lottery or something for that to happen. But either way, I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out. I'm looking forward to testing this camera, this lens more, and I'm looking forward to getting back into making more and more content for you guys. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that thumbs up button, share it with someone that you might find it useful, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.